Marcus, so appreciate you bringing me back to the warehouse.
Right on.
That just brings back good memories of just when we first started off for both of us with the fitness and stuff,
Yeah.
But for people who are seeing this, can you kind of just explain where we are right now?
Yeah, we are at the Hele Fitness warehouse right over here in Kaneohe off of Kahuhipa Street. And this is where we store all the goodies, all the toys that we put out there within our community and the marketplace. And this is kind of the epicenter and the headquarters of Hele Fitness.
I know,
right there.
we had to earn this time to sit down and talk stories,
Yeah.
Just got finished with a cool sweat session.
Yeah.
And you took me through a solid workout.
That was fun.
It was a good sweat. I mean, as you can tell right now, we kind of have a good sweat going on. What's your background? I mean, I know we both met each other a long time ago already. Yep. We're both Kailua boys. Kailua boys. So it's always good to connect with each other, and talk stories. And so can you kind of give it back about like how fitness and health kind of started for you in the beginning, and like what got you into
Absolutely. I'll kind of talk a little bit about the end game, and I'll go back to the beginning. Well, Tarantino.
Sounds good.
This story. Being from Kailua and my experiences here, fitness for me has been an outlet.
Yeah.
And it's been an outlet for the positive and, quite frankly, the negative side of my life. My family is from Molokai. William Souza married Gladys Kalama, pig farmer. Brought my dad and his brothers and his sister over to Kailua. They grew up in Kailua, and eventually my grandfather had to move the family to California, and that's where my dad met my mom, married her, came back here, and I was so blessed. I was so lucky to grow up right here in Kailua.
Yes.
And I grew up on Kumohau Street, which is right across the street from Kalama Beach Park, and I literally grew up with a core group of guys that are at the beach every day.
Yeah.
And my first real experience with fitness was getting with my community, all my good friends, and we would go to the beach every day. We would go to a spot called Willakokis, which is right off of North Kalaheo, and we would surf, bodyboard, and just all day.
Yeah.
We all went to school together. We all became good friends, but it was like really our outlet and kind of my first, more of the mental side of fitness that I got involved in, because those particular friends and we also had some negatives in life. A lot of our parents, didn't stay together.
Yeah.
So there was some things that we were dealing with, and the ocean really brought us together. As I carried on, a lot of the same bradas that I grew up with, we started paddling.
Yeah.
And at about 12 years old, I'll never forget it. You might remember the spot. My coach, Dustin, at the time, and Donovan, they took all of us to Brett's gym.
Oh, Brett's gym.
You remember Brett's gym?
Uncle Brett. Uncle Brett, man. This was good times back then.
Oh my gosh. So putty, such a good product. But I'll never forget it, because our paddling coaches brought us in there, and it really reminded me of that movie Pumping Iron.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's how it was back then.
Right.
Uncle Brett's gym.
Seriously, walked in there, no shirts, no slippers, board shorts. And I kind of remember walking in there and seeing a guy I looked up to, Kenny Florian, and he looked like Arnold.
Yeah.
Like literally 6'3" monster. And they taught us how to lift weights and how to work out. And it was such a positive impact for me at that age to really learn how to work out. And little did I know, it helped me just feel good, And I kind of carried that as I went on in the fitness game, because I never really intended to get into fitness. But at a young age, between the guys that I grew up with, the guys that mentored us, fitness became a big part of our lives, especially to help cope with some of the positive and some of the negative things that we were dealing with in life. So that's kind of what it started. And then I was 22 years old. I got asked by Jimmy Bruin, who is the president of Kailua Canoe Club, to coach some younger men. And to be honest, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, Uncle, I know, like, that's, 22 years old. I was in college. But you couldn't say no to Uncle Jimmy, or you're going to get lickings.
When Uncle says you got to do it. We all know that during the whole way, when Uncle ask you to do something, you're going to do it.
You're going to do it. You're going to do it. So it was my first experience coaching, and we got thrown in there, me and my cousin Josiah, and we were working out hard. We were paddling. We were in really good shape. And we weren't, traditional certified personal trainers, but we knew a lot about fitness at that time. So when we got in to coach these kids were in last place. And I started studying a little bit of personal growth, and I started implementing some of the systems that I used for myself. And more importantly, we started working them out, taking them to the gym, getting them to work out in the field, playing sports. And ironically, what I found was a lot of those young men, 15, 16, some even younger at the time, they came kind of from broken families.
Yeah.
They had great homes, but a lot of them just, their parents didn't stay together, and they were looking kind of for mentors too. And just by getting involved in that experience, we brought kind of the fitness game into their life.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know it, but they started to get really confident about themselves. And they went from last place to winning the championship race that year for a while. They didn't win states, but literally the experience of putting my hand on the back of some of these kids and running them around Lani Kai Loop was amazing. They were getting in shape. They were losing weight. They were feeling good. And I just noticed, like, wow, this is pretty amazing to watch these kids evolve and grow. And really what we're doing is we're just using fitness.
Yeah.
We're using paddling. We're using the ocean. And it had a kind of a profound effect on me, especially at the end of the season when the parents came up to me, and they're like, oh, mahalo, thank you so much. My kid, he's in a better place now.
Yeah.
And I kind of got taken aback,
I think you touched upon an important point, because you have these people and these kids, especially, who are looking for that mentorship. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to have that outside of their homes, and you even talked about how you went to the gym, Brett's gym. That was kind of like your mentoring the whole home, right? Yeah. And especially the space, the environment I was in there. It was such. I remember going walking. I was younger back then, but I remember going inside just to kind of check it out, because everyone had to go check out Brett's gym. Yeah. But I just remember seeing it. It just all uncles inside there, just talking stories, laughing, having a good time, but training. Yeah. They train hard. Yeah. So, but that was the environment that kind of fostered this kind of mentality. Yeah. Of, it's good to have fun, but you got to work, And I remember Uncle Brett was all about you work. If you... He's
a grinder.
Yeah. You can play around, but when it's time to work, you better be working, Yeah. And I remember him when he was coaching baseball and helping out with the baseball and everything at Little League, Kanadu Little League. Yeah. He'll be out there coaching us every once in a while. Be like, okay, time to work. Uncle Brett's here, So... But as you mentioned, right, it's so interesting how you went from you're in that situation, then you found yourself in the same situation with the paddling kids, who came from homes where they're looking for an outlet, a positive thing. But I think that's where fitness plays such an important role for both of us. Yeah. Because even for myself, it was an outlet. Yeah. It was a way to get rid of some of the stressors in life that was happening, anywhere, not even just in home, it's outside of amongst your social life, trying to figure out your identity, who you are at such a young age, especially. And then so right after that, after you did the paddling and everything, how did Hele Fitness come?
That's a great question.
Because I remember we connected back in 2017 or 18, I think, when you guys were just starting off kind of a little bit, kind of getting things going. And I remember you and Gus came over to the Cool Body Club back then. It was just basically an empty space, but you guys showed up and like just offer so much aloha and support, and till this day I will always appreciate about that.
Oh man,
because that was when I remember going to that space. It was just empty. I was like, now what do I do? Yeah, But I remember you guys reached out, and I was like, oh, just to have that support from other people and like yourselves and everything was just, it meant a lot to me. I don't know if you guys realize that.
Oh man, I'm so grateful that we were able to do that for you, and we were so proud of you at that time, and seeing your evolution. It's been amazing. The whole transition from the paddling. When I got to about my 30s, I got into the whole CrossFit rage, and I was a hardcore CrossFitter, and I ended up coaching and doing personal training and working under a mentor in that business that eventually led me to open up my own CrossFit gym called CrossFit Waikiki, and that was back in 2011. And I just fell in love with working out. Like I honestly just your everyday Joe that loved the grind. And then I started really developing a passion for watching other people grind in that CrossFit community. And interestingly enough, I started another gym, and then Gus, one of my partners, and Dara and Brooke, all the people that are on the executive team, all came to my gym.
No way.
I kid you not, CrossFit Juliana.
Yeah.
And there was no Hele. We didn't talk about that, but they love to work out, you know, and the start was there. And so before there was even one conversation, I was the coach.
Yeah.
They were my students. They were grinding, and I was forming relationships with all of them. And Gus, who's from Brazil, one day he comes up to me and he's got this, you know, Brazilian accent. He's like, bro, we should sell some fitness equipment. I have this idea. And initially I didn't think too much about it, but I knew it made sense because fitness equipment in Hawaii is expensive. And being that I was opening up a few gyms and I've been around a lot of the fitness equipment, shipping is one of the biggest issues. I'm like, hey, you know, if we can get something economical out there, that seems to make sense. So teamed up with Gus, and we literally started with a storage unit, right, over in Kamuki with some barbells and some bumper plates. And that's where Hele Fitness kind of got its start at the time. And as that started evolving, so did the line, so did the quality of the equipment. And we went from really a consumer-driven line, and we started expanding it to more of a commercial line as well. As time went on and Derek came aboard and Brooke was on board, we really started to think about, hey, how do we want to impact Hawaii? Because now from a barbell to a bumper plates to, you know, a commercial line, it's like, we got to go on a mission.
Yeah.
And I believe, especially the way that we met, the mission was and still is and will always be to create a healthier Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And as we started building this big line of equipment, it just got really exciting. And some of the things that I noticed right off the bat is, especially with Dara being a PE teacher, she sold a lot of equipment to a lot of the schools that are out here. Yeah. And so grateful for that, seeing gym build outs in schools like Kahuku. And, you know, it's interesting, Kahuku, man, when I first went there, I didn't even think it was a gym when I first saw it, you know. And nonetheless, they have this beautiful high-level strength and conditioning gym there now. And the athletic director cried, literally, when it was installed. So to kind of going off on a tangent, but we went from people at a gym coming together with a vision, starting with just a few products, and then it went to this big commercial line that we have today. And I can get into a little bit later. We've partnered up with some other businesses to offer even a larger line, and we're now at the point where we can pretty much outfit anything.
Yeah, and you know, that's just a beautiful thing to hear when you have a smaller group of people who are on the same mission and have the same vision and same passion for fitness and health, or just an idea, and then just go all in on it.
Yeah,
and then you go from a barbell and bumper plates to now you're in a huge facility just covered. And how much did you bring in yesterday? How much? Tons of
like 120,000 pounds of fitness equipment.
Exactly, just yesterday, you know, like so now you're moving around equipment like crazy, and it's in this, we can call it's like Hawaii's equipment, you know.
Yeah,
like it's something that we can connect to from a community, so we feel good when you see it.
Yeah,
you know, and just to see that there's a lot of local people who are in on this this organization even means more to us as a community. You know, I remember when you guys are slowly going into like different schools too, like you're on in Maui, right?
Yeah,
school out in Maui.
Yep, Laina Luna,
you know, like
Uncle Lawrence. Yeah. I mean, we're statewide. We've been super blessed. People have really bought into the brand itself.
Yeah,
you know, one of the parts that I really like about the brand is we, you know, with my small knowledge when it comes to Hawaiian history, but we really believe in building mana, and I think that that's what the local community really gravitated to, like this idea that there's this local brand, maybe kind of just pushing this idea that we can build and improve upon ourselves. Yeah. So we've been able to go not only statewide, but we have, you know, Hele partnerships over in Brazil. We're out in Guam. We're out in Canada. We're looking to expand in Japan. And quite frankly, it's been about just this vision that, you know, we can kind of just build a better, more improved version of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what the community, the high schools, the intermediates, the consumers, and a lot of other people that buy into this brand, believe.
Yeah, and I think having that strong mission, like building a healthier Hawaii.
Yeah.
And because that's always going to be like your guiding light. Right? Okay, whenever you make any decision, like how is this going to help build a healthier Hawaii?
Absolutely.
And that kind of goes back to like for the Cool Project, right? Like the Cool Project one is just helping people stand taller.
Yeah.
That's it. And like, you know, I mean, you've been following the Cool Project for a while, like seeing the evolution of opening the gym, having to close the gym, kind of going dark for a little while because you're trying to figure out my space.
Yeah.
But, you know, the mission never changed. It's always to help people stand taller. But the how did, given the time that we're in, and the situation I was in as well, you know, from a business standpoint. But, you know, from a fitness side, we talk a lot during our training is how important is fitness and training and working our bodies.
Yeah.
It's so important, not just for ourselves physically, but also spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Can you just kind of share a little bit more about that? How you view that and how it is for you?
Similarly to, I think, exactly what you said with the Cool Project and everything that you've done, I've always looked up to you as far as what you do for the community because you're trying to empower people.
Yeah.
Right? Interestingly enough, you know, I think personally, and fitness is a little bit different for everybody, I always go back to the core belief of mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I love working out passionately. I find myself in the hardest times in life. I've been at the gym at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
2 a.m. by myself, headphones on, nobody around, just grinding because I know fitness is something that when I'm done, I feel good.
Yeah.
I just feel good.
You feel alive.
I feel alive.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a great quote by Tom Bilyeu, the founder of Impact Theory, that life is a biological experience.
Right.
And I think about that quote a lot. And his point was, it's about feeling good. You know, it's not about money or sometimes these big aspirations and, you know, sometimes we chase certain things to feel good, but that's what I love the most about fitness. Yeah. It's a win-win for me and for everyone that I see or help or get involved with, especially our communities and our youth. When they're training, they're feeling good.
Yeah.
And that's what I've gravitated to the most in fitness is the feeling that I get about myself when I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I can get rid of the waha or the garbage in my life and I just walk out of there and I'm like, man, I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel better. And I want to, and I think between Hele and things that you do with Ku, that's really the larger message that I want to get out there that, hey, besides looking good or putting a picture on Instagram or this is not really about aesthetics. This is about making you feel good internally, inside. And I find that to be so powerful when it comes to fitness.
Yeah. I think you hit it right there because it's a tool.
Yeah.
Right. We can use it as a tool and some people don't choose to use it as a tool.
Yeah.
They kind of put that tool to the side, you know, but it's there, you know, and I think that's where like Hele Fitness has done such a great job is making fitness and health accessible.
Yeah.
You know, because it is the getting the shipping of fitness equipment to Hawaii and everything is hard. Yeah. You know, and the cost of it, but the fact that you have it here already at the warehouse just makes it way more accessible for people. And also you're putting out there that, hey, we're a local brand. We're out in the community doing fitness stuff. You guys recently did a Mana Games, which is a huge thing to put on.
Yeah,
you know?
huge.
So, but stressful. Yeah, super stressful, I'm sure. But the outcome was awesome.
It was amazing.
You know,
it was amazing.
But then now it's becoming like this part of even more part of the culture is working out, training your body. And I think that's why Cool Project has always like followed and been in line with the Hele Fitness because that's all we're trying to do is just be part of our community and help them live stronger, healthier lives, stand a bit taller, using the tools that we provide, you know, and given our experiences of what we've gone through, how we use fitness as an outlet. Because even when I was coaching people, it was never about like the performance stuff. Like for me, that was always an easy thing. Like I can make you jump higher. I can give you a 6-pack. That's easy, you know. But the personal development side, that's a whole different aspect. And I think that's where the coaching comes in, the mentorship that we talked about, like being surrounded by people who have that same mindset, you know, and surrounding yourself with the right people. How important is that for you? It's making sure that your surroundings.
It's huge. I don't have, to be honest, a ton of friends. I have like, you know, 2 hands that I keep really close to me that that push me.
Yeah.
You know, I got, it's hilarious really, because they're all into fitness, but we're texting all day and we're pushing each other literally to get to the next workout. And I surround myself with people that use fitness kind of the same way that I do, knowing that, hey, this is going to help me as I go about my day, or with my ohana, or with any trials and tribulations that I may face throughout the week. And those people that surround me, they internalize that and they push me and they help me. So, you know, I'm stoked to have that core group of people that just make me a better man.
Yeah.
You know, I need that. But also, I love hanging out with the youth and our kids and our community and the kapuna. Like, I've been so just blessed to go ahead and coach some young kids that really need maybe some help.
Yeah.
And watching them hang out and work out, I've noticed hanging out with them, it has a profound effect on me.
Yeah.
You know, so between my core group of friends and really my community at large, man, I'm hanging out with people that are kind of just blessing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important that we are being mindful of the people who we surround ourselves, because it has an impact on us.
Yeah.
And it has an impact on the relationship we have with ourselves.
Totally.
You know? And so being surrounded by people who are like-minded individuals, who are passionate, who want to make a difference, it's only going to happen that you're going to start doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know? And when a small group, like how you did it with the rest of the team here, right? Starting from a small little thing to growing it, that just shows the power of like-minded individuals coming together and working with passion for not only for themselves, but to help others.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's such a powerful message that anybody out there can hear, is like, I think a lot of times we become our worst enemies, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always good to have that support group around you to kind of bring you back out of it.
Yeah.
Because I find myself in the same place, right? Like the cool brothers, I'm like, I think I'm done with this. You know, I think this is a lot of stress. You know, there's a lot of things other things I want to be doing, but then you have all these other people who support you, be like, you got to keep pushing forward, keep doing it. You can do it, you know?
Yeah.
So having those people who believe in you is huge.
Huge. And I think, especially with what you're doing and with Hele Fitness, like, well, I love what you do on multiple fronts, and I know what a firm believer you are in fitness and what it could do to help people. And when you're surrounded by people that are like-minded, that do believe in health and well-being, and we come together, it's powerful, because those type of social experiences, they just manifest nothing but positivity, right? So we could get burned out here at work, unloading equipment, but, you know, when I see someone come to Hele Fitness and they pick up a barbell and bumper plates, they're like at Disneyland, right? I'm like,
this is a canvas.
They're like, wow.
Yeah.
And it always draws back in my mind. I'm like, oh, they're going to go work out with that.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to go feel good with that. And maybe they're going to go coach a couple people with that. And I love that aspect of how it affects our community for the good. And that's all fitness driven, and something you do so well with Koo, and I'm stoked on it.
Well, I think that's why we started this. I wanted to start this whole new series of Koo Sweat, because like, again, like this whole idea of sweating and working out, I've always seen fitness as a tool to get to the things that really do matter. Yeah. You know, like when you talk about that person who comes in just to get the barbell, maybe for their neighborhood, you know, when people come together and they train, things come up. You know, you have conversations, people start to open up about what's going on in their lives. Because I feel like when you work out together, it's a very intimate setting. You know,
it is.
Like you're training together, you're breathing hard together, you're like getting exhausted and everything. You're pushing each other, and all of a sudden, like at the end, you feel good. You feel good, you feel alive, and then depending on the environment, you start to just open up a little more. Yeah. And start to build those relationships. I think that's why like CrossFit areas and gyms, or just overall all gyms all over the place, they create such a strong culture. Yeah. Because once people find that these are my people, this is my group, this is my community, then they can start growing in that community. Yeah. And then they start feeling like they have their support system. They have all these things that are going on that they feel like they can get off their chest to express themselves freely without judgment, which is sometimes many of us are just looking for that. You know? Yeah.
No, totally. I think some of my best relationships, if not the majority, have been formed in the gym. You know, and I think I would totally agree with you. And I take that example back to growing up. Once my friends got together and we really embraced what working out and training did. It created a brotherhood.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a total brotherhood, and people start feeding off each other. And you create these great bonds of people because you're watching people put in work. Yeah. You're watching people get down, grind, sweat, and you end up creating these relationships where you start to get close. And maybe you are conveying certain things about your life, this, that, and the other. And it's so constructive, right? And it's so profound on the effects that it has. I've seen many situations, and I'm sure you've seen this as a coach with Ku, where people were depressed. Yeah. They were sad. Some minority, of course, were almost like suicidal. And then they started training. They started getting into fitness. They bought a home gym, whatever the case may be. And sure enough, it had this positive impact, on their mental health, let alone their physical and so on and so forth. So there's so much power in what fitness can do and what you're doing for our community, our people, and most of all, for the fight that we fight against ourselves every day, our own worst enemy. It would, as my Uncle Marcus would say, he would tell me, hey, hemalele yourself. Right? And it just absolutely resets you and gets you centered again.
And I think that goes back to, like, we're talking about community and everything, and the impact that fitness and health has on the community and also individuals. I'm sure many people who listen don't realize how much work that the Hele Fitness does within the community. Because they see them on the game, they see all the stuff that you guys are doing with getting the equipment out there in the marketplace and so forth. But the amount of community work that I've been very impressed with and very highly respect you guys for it is the amount of community work that you do out there. So can you just share more about some of the organizations and so forth that you work with?
Yeah, we work with a lot of different, we've worked with a lot of different nonprofits over the years. One that sticks out to me is EV Kula. And what's really cool about some of the nonprofits, and actually Uncle Lawrence over there in Maui as well, is they're just very like-minded, with Hele Fitness. A lot of them are out there pressing good health, good well-being, whether it's through nutrition, through exercise, and through training. EV Cool is over in Kauai, and they've just been a great proponent of helping their lahui, their community. They're literally farming organic foods and serving it to their community. They've built a gym literally right there in Waimea, and they're having a profound effect on their community in its entirety. And what are they doing? They're pushing healthy eating. They're pushing nutrition amongst putting on events that we support, whether it's running events or anything that they do when it comes to like Waimea High School, because they work with the track team. But, we've been very fortunate to work with quite a few different nonprofits that share just the same mindset that it's all about health and wellness and helping people. So we've been blessed to help them, and they in return have helped us. And it's just been a win-win partnership.
And it goes back, I think we found it's like this amazing theme that's going on how these little small communities can do such big things.
Huge,
right? Like this EV Cool, they're doing this great amount of work. I follow them too. Yeah. And they're doing amazing work. I just love seeing all the content they put out there and seeing all the kids and they look all healthy.
They are.
They're all thriving out there. Yeah. But that just gives like a great model to follow.
Yeah.
Right. For not only just for other organizations, but for other kids.
Yep.
To see like, wow, look at these kids out there. They're working hard. They're out in the low. They're doing all this cultural stuff. And we could be doing that.
Totally agree. I honestly, I get jealous of Josh, one of the executives of the nonprofit there, the amount of mentorship that he gives to youth and how hard he works. And this guy is fluent in Olelo, Hawaii. His Hawaiian cultural background is insane. He's actually, I don't think he's getting his doctorate right now, but it is amazing to see that they're out there making a difference in their community between the farming practices, what they believe in fitness, and literally just their character and how much they love their community. Yeah. Right. And to your point, it goes to show they're a prime example. If there was more organizations out there, and there's a multitude of nonprofits that are doing great things in the community, but in my humble opinion, they're next level, with what they do, because man, they're working 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, and but you could see the impact in the community, and it's profound, and it is a great baseline on, you know, how to make a difference.
Yeah. You know, it always kind of draw back to how people today, when they try to start a business or try to start an organization, they're always worried about like how big it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it's all about focusing on keeping it that's the group that you already have, serving that community that you already have within you, and then you watch it just slowly grow.
Yeah.
You know, rather than be like, oh, we got to do everything we need to just grow as big and fast as possible. It's just like, look at the people who already you're surrounded by, who you're already serving, and then just keep building that relationship. And slowly, like a snowball effect, it starts to build up bigger and bigger and bigger. Like with the cool project when we started, I started the same way, right? Like,
yeah.
I just had a barbell, a rusty barbell from my dad's place, and like I think I grabbed the bumper plates from you guys.
Yeah.
My first thing, and then I stole my brother's medicine ball, and I started a cool project out of my parents' driveway. You know, but it was just one of those things. Just like I was training my wife, and I trained my auntie, you know, who was coming over, who had a knee problem, so I was helping her with that. And then I slowly started training my cousins, and then all of a sudden I started building up more and more into this community.
Yeah.
You know, but it's always starts small. You know, focus on what you can control. Because sometimes when we try to go fast, so we think big so quickly, we lose sight of ourselves, what we're trying to do. We lose sight of the mission.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's critical. And man, I give you props. I remember dropping off that equipment with Gus when you first started, and just to your point, to that empty room, and then, you know, seeing you train a few clients, and to where you are today, it's, you know, I give you a lot of props because you just focused on the main thing.
Yeah.
And that was to help and develop people.
Yeah.
And it served you well. You took care of your community, and now you're doing so many other things. And I think for cool, it's awesome.
Yeah.
What you're doing. It's huge.
Getting it with Hele Fitness, you know, I feel like the sky's the limit for you guys, especially when you have partnerships all over the world now.
Yeah.
What are some of the big things that you guys have in store for you in the near future for Hele Fitness?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. One of the big things that we did is we partnered up with Core Health and Fitness.
Oh, nice.
This is a company that's based over in California, but they have 5 different brands, or 6 different brands, I should say, that they carry, but nonetheless, completely different equipment than Hele Fitness: Stairmasters, ellipticals, you know, Schwinn bikes, treadmills, all the commercial grade equipment, literally Nautilus, Stairmaster, Star Trek, those big brands we now have access to. And previous to that, you know, we were predominantly strength-based equipment. Yeah. We also partnered with Assault as well, but for Hele Fitness, looking in the future, now we have the capacity to go ahead and not just outfit a home, outfit just a strength-based gym, but we can do strength and conditioning, and then all of your traditional cardio equipment, your iso machines, things that you would need in more of your traditional gym as well. So that partnership is just kicking off, and we're excited for those that need, to go at scale, because we're at this point that we could offer that type of equipment so that we can outfit their gym, because that was a big missing piece for us, that, we would get calls and people inquiring that we're opening gyms. Hey, do you carry a treadmill? Do you carry a Stairmaster? Do you go like, no, we don't, So I'm excited about that partnership so that we could outfit that market that needs those particular items. But the next thing, I think, really, besides having the capacity to have any equipment that you need, and really what that is to figure out, what is our next step for our community within our mission in creating a healthier Hawaii. We have a lot of athletes and ambassadors that represent our brand, and we're constantly evolving and thinking about how can we make Hawaii a healthier place. So I know that for Hele Fitness and my partners, between evolving our products, getting better, evolving the scale of our line, it's also going to be really evaluating how do we help our community?
Yeah.
How do we help our community? And I think that'll be like the next step for us, because we have all the tools, we have all the resources,
Yeah.
we have the partnerships. The question now becomes is how do we help more people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then when it comes to, I remember we talked about it earlier, you guys recently also partnered with the lifeguards, right?
Yeah.
Interesting, because the lifeguards are such a big part of Hawaii as well. So can you guys just share about that? Because I think that's an amazing partnership, and I want to congratulate you guys on all that, because it's so great to hear how organizations are teaming together for the same reason, for the same cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brooke, he kind of teamed up with Kalani, the head of the Hawaii Lifeguards Association. And now I was just there in Kauai hanging out. And I've met Kalani before, and he's an awesome Kanaka through and through. But this is the first time I actually got to sit down with him when I was in Kauai. And he actually is from Waimea, and listen to kind of his heart on the whole partnership with Hele and the Hawaii Lifeguard Association. And man, this guy was incredible. He's like, hey, I firmly believe that these lifeguards are the best in the world.
Yeah.
The best in the world. And I couldn't agree more. And I got to meet some of the lifeguards that day, and some younger guys, and they were just awesome guys.
Yeah.
Awesome guys, right? And he's like, but they also should train like the best lifeguards in the world. And between him and Brooke, they came up with an idea that, hey, let's outfit these lifeguard stands with sandbags, and let's build some IP around some workouts that are relevant to our lifeguards. So between myself, Brooke, Kalani, we teamed up with them, one, to outfit each lifeguard station with a Hele sandbag so that the lifeguards, well, they can train with it and use it. And there's so many different exercises that you can use with a sandbag. And then working with Kalani, we're looking at different ways that we can incorporate fitness into the Hawaii Lifeguard Association.
Yeah.
And man, I shot a bunch of content, a bunch of workouts. The lifeguards didn't even know they were going to be working. They thought they were going to just be holding a sandbag. I'm like, no, boys.
No, you gotta, hey, it's time to work.
It's time to work. So I do believe eventually we'll come up with a lifeguard workout program.
Oh, solid.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. And that's in creation right now. And it's a partnership that we're really excited about. And when it comes to the lifeguards, these guys are just amazing guys. And anything that Hele can do to help them, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
So we're humbled to be a part of that project.
Awesome. One thing I did want to ask too is, given all it's just so, because this is our first time actually like sitting down and just like talking stories about all this too, So it's like a lot of memories are coming up for myself as well, given the humble beginnings of both of our beginnings.
Oh yeah.
But it always roots back to just following what is right, and following your not, I'll always say, right?
Yeah.
And following that guiding light that we're both passionate about. What for yourself, how has Hele Fitness, watching the growth? Because I think a lot of people out there, not only in Hawaii but everywhere else, when they see an idea and they see it come to fruition and they see it manifest in its physical form, how does it make you and the executive team feel? Like, is there a moment when you guys come together and just kind of sit in here and be like, yo, look at where we're at now?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the first word that comes to mind is just grateful.
Yeah.
There's no doubt starting a business and from 2 products to hundreds, it's insane. But I think what keeps us very grounded and rooted is that we're just so grateful that we could help really Hawaii ne, number one. And like I was saying before, anytime, whether it's a school or an individual or a business, when I see them taking this fitness equipment, like that feeling of gratitude, knowing that this is going to help this organization, this is going to help this individual, it humbles us.
Yeah. And,
this is a lot of work, especially when you're running an organization of this size, but it feels good.
Yeah.
It goes right back to that example that I always go back to being a kid that, hey, yeah, we're selling fitness equipment. I'm not working out here all the time, but my point is it's having an impact.
Yeah.
It's having an impact on people. It's having an impact on organizations. And I think our whole executive team and everybody that represents the Hele Fitness brand we buy into that.
Yeah.
That this is a mission to create a healthier Hawaii, and then we're doing it abroad. And we need to improve, we need to get better, but the mission stays the same. It's going to go from a healthier Hawaii, maybe to a healthier world.
Yeah.
Right? As we sweep it.
Again, going back to the starting small, start in Hawaii, make it healthier, and all of a sudden, everyone else is going to use it as a model.
Yeah.
To kind of reflect.
Yeah.
Oh, brown market's awesome. Before we close up, is there any last advice for people out there who are just looking to start training for themselves, and are looking for how to start, how to get started? Is there any advice you can give those people? Because I think that's what number one.
Such a good question.
Is like when people come inside here, it's like, hey, I'm looking to start working out. I have a small space in my house. I need to outfit. Like, what do I begin?
Yeah, in my humble opinion, that's a great question. Where I would recommend you begin is with the home gym.
Yeah.
I had my last place in LA, a freaking phenomenal home gym. And what's great, because with, the internet now, you can pull up any workout variation, and like between our power racks and a set of bumper plates, a pair of dumbbells, kettlebells, you just get started.
Yeah.
But one thing about getting a home gym, you invest in some equipment, but it's at your house. There's no excuses.
Yeah.
You can't get that call and be like, hey, Brother Daniel, can't go to the gym today. Sorry about this is going on. But when it's at your home and it's right there in front of you, it's almost talking to you like, use me. So having a home gym and buying in, I think, to the reality that, hey, this is going to help me in the long run.
Yeah.
This is going to make me better. Fantastic. And when it's right there in your house, right in front of you, no excuses. You got to go. And if you don't know how to work out, YouTube is right there. You can punch in any exercise that you want, and you'll find it. But I really believe it's about getting started and creating a no-excuse situation. If you get a home gym and it's there, you got to use it.
Yeah, and it's all on you, too.
Yeah,
like exactly. Hey, it's all on you. You putting it there, it's going to be on you to put it to work now. It's a tool that's there for you to make you better. It's all up to you if you can use a tool for yourself to make
Absolutely. Right
on, bro.
Hey, all about. Appreciate you, bro.
So you can find top stories and likewise get a good sweat inside. But first episode of the Crew Sweat session, and super stoked about it.
Hey, super humbled to be on the show, and super proud of you and everything that you're doing. Hele Fitness loves your mission and what Crew supports. So thank you for having us, and from everybody at Hele Fitness, big mahalo.
Mahalo, bro.
Mahalo. Aloha. She.
Right on, bro.
Right on, boy. Hey, I gotta see that